Hi, everybody. This is Bill. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes here to acknowledge the passing a week or so ago of one of my favorite guitarists of the essentially the pre-punk era, Wilko Johnson, who died in the UK of pancreatic cancer. And interesting side note. I guess in the post career that he had after he left the band Dr. Feelgood, which is where he became very well known for his guitar stylings, he went on to survive a very long bout of pancreatic cancer before he actually died. So he had actually been given sort of a death sentence by his doctors, but he managed not only to last much longer than they ever thought, but he was quite productive. He did a couple of solo records, including one with Roger Daltrey, and was even an actor on the Game of Thrones. So he had a very interesting career. But to me, what was really important about him was in 1975 or 76, if you were looking for somebody who was kind of pointing a way out of the kind of rock malaise that I grew up in. It was a band like Dr. Feelgood. So in this era in the UK, there were pub rock bands and a lot of guys who came out of those bands in the mid to late 70s were kind of looking for a way to take the raw bones of rock and roll and kind of retool it for the 70s and hopefully the 80s. Wilko was one of those guys who actually was able to do it. He had a very interesting guitar style. He didn't use a pick, so he was always kind of slashing at his guitar. And I'm not sure whether he was always on amphetamines or almost always on amphetamines, but he was quite a lively stage presence. And with his band, he was quite distinctively visual. He was very tall. He had a kind of like a pudding basin haircut, so it wasn't terribly stylish. The guys all wore suits. They looked like, if you've ever seen the old British crime show, The Sweeney, they all looked like they were villains from that show. And you can imagine the mid 70s, just what that kind of stylish look represented. And the music that they played was really very basic and rudimentary, but very exciting. And it led to, I think, the inspiration of a lot of people who acknowledged both the band and Wilko's approach. And among those, I think you could probably put Joe Strummer of The Clash, Paul Weller of The Jam, Hugh Cornwall of The Stranglers, and Brian James of The Damned. So all of those guys, started their own bands, and they channeled a lot of what Dr. Feelgood and Wilko brought to the table. And the interesting thing was, as important as Dr. Feelgood was, they actually they didn't benefit from all of the kind of stuff that they germinated. So by the time the other bands that I mentioned got up and running, they sort of eclipsed Dr. Feelgood's more rudimentary approach to rock and roll. But anyway, if you're ever in the mood for something that really is going to amp you up and get you going, I highly recommend Dr. Feelgood, especially in the Wilko Johnson years. So that would be probably 75 to 77. Anyway, RIP, Wilko, thanks for everything, and we'll miss you.